Welcome, welcome, artisans and artists. My name is Kyushin, and this is your how-to build tips of Terraria. In today's video, we will feature how I built and designed the fully animated tree. Although I'm not necessarily the first to use this technique, I did come up with the design on my own, and here today I will show you how I did it. The main materials that you will need is going to be the strange plants, which they primarily make up the leaves of the foliage that we'll be using, and blueberries, which also create a little bit more bulk and just a different shape to the tree. This all again depends on the style of tree that you're building, but for today I'm going to stick with building the conical tree. Other things that you might use is different shades of paint. We're going to go mostly with green, and so I'll use the deep paint and the not deep paint just to create some more shadowing and color variances. This will bring a lot more depth to the tree. Lastly, we'll need wood, living wood wand to create the bark effects, some background wood or living wood wall, living leaf wall, and green mossy wall. And today we are going to get started over here. First thing you want to start off with is just a wooden trunk. I'm putting the echo goggles on so that our spectral goggles on so I can see the echo blocks when I place them. It is very important that when you're starting this tree that you work from the ground up, because unfortunately you cannot go the opposite direction simply because when you place this block and then you place the plant, it's impossible to do it again and then work your way down because it won't let you place the plant. But interestingly enough, if you do that, then you can stack them. And when you take the goggles off, that's what they look like. So today we're going to go over how we do this for a whole tree. So we start with the base trunk of what we want it to look like. And then I start with like a generic row of echo blocks on the bottom, just to kind of outline the shape of the tree. And now that we have that designed, we can just kind of place our foliage that we'd like to place along the bottom. I will color these all in later. It's much easier just to kind of place them as they are and then paint it accordingly afterwards. There. This gives a nice little mix. Now, what we want to do is come up the side here and place a block, then place a bush, and then we place a block, and then we place a bush. Now I don't want to go too much wider than this, so we're gonna trim this down and carefully remove the sides, because if you remove this, you lose the blueberry bush. That's fine, I kind of wanted that down a little bit. I'm actually going to place one block there and add a bush here. And if we take the goggles off for a second, you see that we're getting a nice kind of lovely curve to it. Alright, so I'm going to continue now in fast forward, and you're going to see me put it together in the speedrun version. Da 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 da! Special note to when I was building this video, I kind of went with the flow of things and decided to make the tree less conical shape and just more round. It's important to go with the flow of, you know, how your build is going, and you don't always have to fight it. Sometimes it feels conical, sometimes it feels circular. You do you. It doesn't have to be exact. It's kind of fun to be random, and trees are organic, so you gotta go with kind of a little bit random. They shouldn't be perfectly level or perfectly symmetrical. That's actually very unusual and makes your trees look a little less real. Okay, there we go. I bet that went by super fast for you, but it was super long and tedious for me. So taking off the goggles now, you can kind of see how it's got a nice flow and look to it. We're going to take our paintbrush here, and let's start with a deep green paint and just kind of fill it all in. We're just going to do all the same color for now. Probably would have been easier if I had done this from the very start and just auto painted them, but I want you to see what plants I was using to create the different dimensions and effects. So just going through and making sure I'm just hitting most of the blueberries. Nothing really too eccentric. And then with a little bit of the lime paint, we're just going to do some highlights. And this is basically just, you know, accenting parts of it, of the tree that would be, you know, hitting the sunlight. This gives our tree a little bit more, depth. And I mean, you can get really fun if you want to incorporate some fall colors too. I'm actually going to change that back because that's the lower part of the tree. So you want like the top portions of the tree to be lighter than the bottom portions. And you can even throw some of the lighter greens in there, but it doesn't really show up quite the same. You mostly see it with the wall and such. Alright, and speaking of walls, we see that our tree is a little bit sparse, but that is okay, because what we do is we're going to put the goggles back on so I can see where the blocks are. And the reason why we want this is so that when I place this, I'm not going to place it over top of the blueberry itself, because as you probably already know, when you place a wall in front of a blueberry, it stops moving. We want to place it just underneath the blueberry, ergo right on top of the echo block. This will give some filler, make the tree look more full without actually changing the movement of it. And we're going to use this nice dark living leaf wall. I'm going to unpaint it for now, and we're just going to click on little bits here and there. And this is just going to give the tree a lot more of a fuller look. It gives it some shadow. It's great to actually get it behind these purple strange plants. I might remove that later. More so than the blueberries. Oh, as you can see, I accidentally goofed there, but that's okay. Decreasing a little bit of the tree's movement isn't such a bad thing. As you can see here, it's starting to really thicken up. If you want to hammer the wall out without accidentally hammering the echo blocks, because hammering the echo blocks is going to change and knock off the strange plants. You start swinging from off here and then zoom into where you wanted to knock what walls loose. This doesn't affect the blocks, but it will affect the walls. So as long as I keep auto swinging here, I can go in and I can remove walls without hammering blocks accidentally. If I tried clicking, I could accidentally hammer a thing, and then you suddenly lose your blueberries. You lose your berries. And we'll just continue on going in and filling the tree out, and we'll get to the end result of what the tree looks like when I'm done. And I alternate using different textured walls too, because it will create a little bit more depth, coloration variation. And there you have it, folks. A pretty good looking tree, if I do say so myself. If you want to add more texture and more depth to it, like you can do bark patterns with living wood, honestly, the sky's the limit. I highly recommend actuating it though. Well, you didn't see that. So you can still walk underneath the tree. And then you can even do fun little patterns in the wood. And there you have it, folks. A living, moving tree that blows with the wind and just looks absolutely awesome. And as a final bonus, if you want to add even a little bit more life to it, you get the living leaf wand. Whoops. There we go. The living wand, the leaf wand, I should say. And you replace a couple blocks and then you can hammer them down so they're less visible. And you will have leaves coming off of them. You can even use these instead of echo blocks in key locations too, and then you have this lovely leaf effect that you got coming down here. And there is your fully animated tree. Thank you for watching. Please hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, and I look forward to putting out more videos in the near future. Remember, knowledge is power, but imagination is freedom. Bye!